Welcome to Queenmaker. This is a spirit-led conversation space for women who lead, create, and influence with intention. I'm Natasha Hilsman, and here we explore wisdom and strategy, mentorship and legacy, and what it truly means to lead with presence, clarity, and soul. Queenmaker was created for women who are done rushing, done shrinking, and ready to be visible without abandoning themselves. Because queens are not born, they are made. So wherever you're listening from, take a breath, settle into yourself. You're in the right place. I don't believe you found this episode by accident. I think something in you needed a moment today. Not an answer, not a solution, just a voice that feels familiar. If that's true for you, I want you to know this space was created with you in mind. This is Queenmaker. And today I want to share why it exists. If you spent most of your life being the strong one, the one people rely on, the one who figures everything out, the one who keeps moving forward, even when it's heavy, there's a good chance you're used to holding space for everybody else. And maybe quietly, you've wondered, when it gets to be your turn. I didn't always have language for this. I just knew that supporting others came naturally to me. I was often behind the scenes, helping people think things through, studying moments that felt uncertain, and watching others step into opportunities with my encouragement quietly woven into the background. And for a long time, that felt good. It really did. I was proud of that role. I loved being someone others could depend on. But somewhere along the way, I stopped checking in with myself. Not because anyone asked me to disappear, but because I didn't yet know that I could support others and honor my own spirit at the same time. There were moments when I felt invisible. Present, I was needed, I was trusted, but not fully seen. And even then, there was a quiet knowing inside me, a sense that this wasn't the full story, that it wasn't meant to live my entire life behind the curtains. And if you're listening to this thinking, yes, I know, I thought that too, you're not alone. Because that quiet knowing doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from years of showing up, from paying attention, from being the one who sees what others miss. I remember one evening I was watching a show, not really thinking much of it, just letting the day settle. And there was this woman on the screen. She had this calm, steady presence. She walked into complicated situations, and somehow things made sense again. People trusted her. They listened to her. Problems softened in her presence, and everyone around her could see her gift. Everybody except her. I felt something in my chest when I watched her. Not admiration, not comparison, recognition. That's what I saw. It was like seeing a reflection I hadn't fully claimed yet. And in that moment, I realized something important. What I had been carrying all along wasn't just a role, it's a gift. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. Because a gift doesn't disappear just because you haven't named it yet. It waits. And when I started paying attention, I realized something else. I wasn't alone. I knew other women like me. Women who had supported leaders, built organizations, mentored others quietly, and carried wisdom that wasn't always acknowledged out loud. Women who knew how to make things happen, but were still learning how to make space for themselves. Queenmaker began there, not as an idea, but as a question. And here's the question. What if leadership didn't require disappearing? What if supporting others didn't mean abandoning yourself? And what if becoming visible wasn't about ego, but about truth? And before we go any further, I want to ground us for a moment. My name is Natasha Wellington Hillsman. Much of my work has lived in leadership, supporting people and organizations through growth, complexity, and change. I've spent years helping others think clearly through thoughtful and navigate important transitions. And along with that work, I've always been listening for something deeper. That listening, that integration of spirit and leadership is what brought Queenmaker to life. You know, that question, what if supporting others didn't mean abandoning yourself? That question has stayed with me because once you ask it honestly, it starts to show up everywhere. It shows up in how you work, how you lead, how you make decisions, and how you care for yourself. Through my work, I support leaders and organizations in finding clarity, especially in moments of change and complexity. And I support women in reconnecting with their well-being, their visibility, and their sense of purpose as they grow into who they are becoming. Queenmaker lives at the intersection of those worlds. It's where spirit meets strategy, where wisdom meets action, and where leadership becomes something you inhabit, not something you perform. I want to offer you a moment to reflect, not to solve anything, just to notice. Where in your life have you been holding everything together without asking for what you need? Where have you been generous with your wisdom, but cautious with your own visibility? And what might shift if you believe that you don't have to disappear in order to be supportive? If you're listening to this and something stirred in you, I want you to know that matters. This is just the beginning of the conversation. In the episodes that follow, you'll hear from women who lead with wisdom and who have learned through experience and who are still becoming just like you. I'm honored you're here at the start. You're not late. You're right on time. And I see you. Remember, every crown is earned. Welcome to Queenmaker. As we close today, I invite you to sit with what stirred, not to rush into action, but to honor the insight that found you. Leadership isn't about doing more. It's about listening deeper, choosing wisely, and trusting your own knowing. If this conversation resonated, please like this episode and subscribe here on YouTube. It's how this space continues to grow and how more women find their way here. And if you'd like to stay connected between episodes, you can follow me on Instagram at LiveWellHeal, where I share reflections and behind-the-scenes moments. You can also explore more at livewellheal.com when you're ready. Until next time, remember, I see you, and every crown is earned.